welcome to the latest episode of the Celtic View podcast, brought to you in association with Eden Mill. And as always, just thanks Eden Mill to their ongoing support of Celtic and also for the Celtic View podcast. I'm delighted to be joined today by a man who scored the goal that won as part of the treble back in 2001. Of course, I'm talking about Tommy Johnston. Tommy, thanks for joining us on the podcast.
Hi Paul, no problem. I think when you text this morning or yesterday to do this interview, I didn't realise how long ago it was, and it's come round again so quickly.
I know. Is it making you feel old then? That's 19 years now.
I know, dear me, it's gone quick. Or slow.
I mean, that day, obviously it's the anniversary of it. That day when you scored the goal against St Mirren, it was Martin O'Neill's first season. It was an incredible season, winning the treble, but to play your part in the way you did, scoring the goal that won the title, that must be a special memory for you.
Yeah, I think it's been well documented, the injuries I had up there before the gaffer come in, and no one expected us to do what we done. Rangers were flying, to be fair. Gaffer come in and brought some top class quality players in, and we all gelled, and we just kicked off from the start of the season. Had a good rapport going, winning games, and we just carried it on. And I think towards the end, when we did win it, it was just a case of when we were going to do it and how. Yeah.
I mean, is that so important in football? You're talking about when Martin O'Neill comes in, and everybody remembers him standing in the steps at Celtic Park and saying he'll do everything he can to bring success. But on a daily basis, did you immediately sense that this was a special guy that you were going to be working with?
Definitely, it was like when I signed with when Tom Burns signed us. It was the same sort of kind of scenario. Two great men, passionate about football, and I think what helped the gaffer as well when he brought Steve Walford and John Robertson in, and Terry was already there. I think Terry Genoa. So, it was he brought people in who he'd trusted and who he'd worked with before, all different personalities, they were totally different, but they were just gelled, and they brought the best out of the players.
Yeah, and when you look at that dressing room, I mean, some of obviously the likes of Henrik and Lubo, yourself, you were already there, but then he's bringing in the likes of Chris Sutton and guys like Stillian was already there as well, of course. It was a big dressing room. Neil Lennon joined halfway through that first season, Alan Thompson as well, and I mean, you obviously must have had to work really hard every day to be proving yourself with that group of players.
Definitely, I think we won pre-season when it was announced, and then Sutty came over. So obviously I'm thinking I'm not going to be playing as much as I possibly would have liked, which was the case. Unfortunately, I think Sutty got injured with his knee and then got suspended, I think, towards the end when we did win the league. But as you said, the gaffer knew, obviously, had a look around the dressing room and just wanted to top it up with top class quality players, and that's what he done, and as I said, we all gelled straight away. Obviously I'd been there a few years, but the new lads who come in, I played against most of them down in England, so we know what you were going to get, and it just enhanced the squad that we already had.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned obviously when you joined, it was Tommy Burns, God rest him, it brought you to the club, but I suppose your time at Celtic, it's an example of players having to stay positive, because there was a lot of downs as well as ups in terms of the injuries that you talked about, because you would have just wanted a run in the team.
That was it, Paul. It was I could have left on a few occasions, but I had unfinished business. I think I wasn't blessed with the best skill in the world, but I think what I'd done was I worked and had a good attitude, and happened to score some goals now and again, and I think people forget now about all the injuries that I had, and it was a tough time for a couple of years, but it all turned out in the end, and you reflect now and you think, would you have changed anything? Obviously the injuries, but in the end it all worked out well, especially like scoring the goal and then winning the treble in that first season. So we still get together a lot of the lads, we still keep in contact, and as I said, most of the supporters are fine, and just remember you for scoring the goal and not the bad times that went on before it.
Yeah, I think also because you're part of that team that won the treble under Martin O'Neill, everybody remembers that so fondly, and everybody played their part that season, and I think that's why fans respond to you like that.
Yeah, as I said, we were hard working, and we did have some good footballers who would actually play the game, As I said before, we weren't expected to do anything when the gaffer came in, but we just started really well and kept it going. you know, and we were a very good team, yes.
Yeah, and obviously that goal, it's a classic of us winning the title. The first touch, it almost looks as if it got away from you, but then that just gives you that I got to play it past the keeper.
Well, if I remember rightly, I think I'd had 2 or 3 chances before it, and you think, is this going to ever happen, you know? And obviously, Tomo went down the left and passed it to Henrik, and Henrik was so unselfish, you know. I think if it was me in that position, I would have shot, but that was such a great player that he was. And he just passed it to us. Yeah, it did roll under my foot, and I was just fortunate for it to get on my right foot and then roll under the keeper. And I think there was a couple of lads on the line, but I managed to squeeze in at the far end. So to be perfectly honest, Paul, didn't care how it went in as long as it went in. And being a bit selfish, I think. I know we were hanging on in the end, but I didn't want anybody else to score.
quite right, as long as we win the game. But you know the thing, I don't know if you remember the Olivier Incham scored the winner over in Lazio, and it was the last minute, and again he kind of, the first touch almost took him away, and it was almost like Tommy Johnson-esque, where he just gets that angle and then dinks it over the keeper, and we win the game.
Oh God, and Bennett. I said, as long as they go in, it doesn't matter. I think that, you know, everyone keeps reminding, and it was a bad first touch, which it was, you know. I had every intention of just stopping it and then hitting it with my left foot, but it wasn't to be. But as I said, lucky enough, it just crawled in.
Yeah. And do you remember at the time, when obviously when it gets into those last few minutes and you know you're just minutes away from winning the title, and is there a wee part of you thinking, right, I hope I've scored the winning goal? Even then, yeah.
We're all selfish at heart. And I think a few of my mates were up and they were saying they just didn't want anybody else to score. Listen, if someone else had scored, it wouldn't have a problem. The main thing was that we won the game. Yeah. You know, I think we on the Wednesday night would beat Dundee to set it up nicely for the Saturday and on Sky, you know, that. And I think it was 12 o'clock kick-off. All the families were there and friends, you know, and it was a sunny day, so it was all just set up to hopefully win the game, which we did. And to be perfectly honest, Paul, it didn't matter who scored, as long as we won the game and got the job done ASAP and set us up for the cup final. Yeah,
because you obviously scored in that Dundee game as well, leading up to that.
Yeah, that was a tight affair. I think I scored early doors, and then Dundee equalised. And you'll probably correct us if I'm wrong, but I think Big Johan scored with about 10 minutes to go, something like that, or in the last 10 minutes.
I think it was even less than that, yeah.
Was it less than that? Yeah, I just remember, they were drawn, and you know, we were getting a bit anxious because we knew if we'd won, we'd set us up for the Saturday. I think the gaffer had come in at half time and give us a little bit, and then just before we were going out, he just said, listen, go and set yourselves up for the weekend, because if you win tonight, you can go and win it on Saturday. And that's what we done. You know, he had a great way about his man management style was brilliant, which he had to listen to him. You knew what he was going to say, and as I said, he just had a great knack of making you feel absolutely fantastic, and that's what he did just before we went out for the second half against Dundee.
Yeah, but I suppose I'm guessing every Celtic team, if you obviously just want to win the title, to get the chance to win it, a sell-out Celtic Park crowd. As a player, that must be great as well.
Unbelievable. You know, I think over 60,000 there, you know, anticipating, and obviously what had gone on before, you know, we hadn't, as I said, everybody expected Rangers to kick on, but, you know, I think, if I remember rightly, we were still on the pitch ages after the game. All the family was down on the pitch, and, you know, it was just such a relief, and we deserved it. You know, everyone, all the lads in that dressing room, not just the lads who played on the day, and the whole squad was fantastic to be part of.
Yeah, and I suppose, again, I mean, I've said it already, but just the fact whenever people, I mean, it's 19 years, I can still remember being there that day that we won, and people will always remember, because it is 1-0, they'll always be able to tell who scored the goal, and that must be nice, because you're part of the history.
Yeah, it's great. As I said, it's the best, the feeling I've had. You know, when I was playing for Celtic, that was my best moment from playing up there, and it is nice, you know, to be part of the history. And I know I scored the goal, but yeah, as I mentioned before, it was the whole squad that season. You know, we went on to win the treble, which was unbelievable. No one expected us to do that, and as you said, to be part of it, it was fantastic.
Yeah, and even before that cup final, we went to Ibrox and won 3-0, and that must have been a great day as well to be part of that team and part of that victory.
Yeah, oh, definitely. Yeah. Any game against Rangers where you win is very, very special, not just for the players, but for the staff and the fans as well, and we thoroughly deserved it that day, I think we showed that day that we were the top team in that season, and really deserved to win it.
Yeah. And do you ever look back, when you've obviously the likes of Lupo and Henrik and these guys that you get to train them on a day-to-day basis, and you would have seen how good they were just every single day. We only got to see them for 90 minutes on a Saturday, but you're working with them every single day.
Definitely. I think, when Vim brought, I think it was his first signing was Henrik, and you've seen from day one what he was like, a fantastic player, scored every type of goal you could imagine. It was just a pleasure to play with him. And Lubo, I think he was in his 30s when Joseph brought him in.
Yeah.
But I think Lubo himself would even say he doesn't know which footed he is. He was left foot, he was right foot, he was chopping. His set piece delivery was unbelievable. You just give him the ball and you just let him, let him get on with it, because you knew he'd produce something special. And there were flair players in our team, but there was much more to that. We were hard working. I had the likes of Lenny and Lambo in midfield. At the back, big Johan. It was solid as a rock. So, we had a good mixture of people who could dig in and players who could produce a bit of craft.
Yeah, and you mentioned obviously the guys still keep in touch, and you must be pleased. Obviously, when Neil came back last year at a difficult time and really steadied the ship, got us the treble, and has really moved the team on. So as a friend of his, you must be delighted with how things are going.
Oh, I'm delighted. I think I spoke to him just after when he left Hibs and what he was going to do and all. I took a bit of time out, and then I spoke to him. He says, I think I'm going to be going back. And I was delighted. I think it was probably a masterstroke by Peter Lowell and the staff up there and the directors, because Neil knew the club, he knew the players, he obviously knew the fans and the expectations of the club, and he just carried on what Brendan Rodgers had produced. He didn't want to, he probably wanted to tinker things, but not too much, and just carried it on. And thankfully they won the league. And last summer, and I know I speak to him all the time, he worked on stuff that he wanted to implement into his team, and I think he's done it. And hopefully when the coronavirus is all over and we get back to normal, they can carry on the season and as I said, hopefully get the hands on the trophy again. Yeah,
I mean, obviously, you follow Celtic from afar, but when it's somebody, obviously it's your friend that's managing the team, is it there's even a bit more investment because you're desperate for him to do well as the team?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we know Celtic's such a family club, and once you're part of it, it stays with you for life. And it's even more so when you know the manager and you're good friends with him. I speak to him, probably every week, and there's text messages and WhatsApp messages, and you can't fault what he's doing. I'm still good friends, like we say, with Scott Brown as well, and he's been fantastic over the years, and as I said, he's implemented this system he wants to play, Lenny, and he's carried it on, and and we can't argue the fact of being absolutely class since he's returned to the club.
Yeah, I mean, you just mentioned Scott Brown there. He's obviously been over 500 appearances now for the club since he joined back in 2007, and just even him being there all this time, that must have helped Neil when he returned, having a player like Scott Brown in your side.
Well, definitely, he's your captain. He trusts him. Scott will take care of the dressing room, and on top of it, he's still a fantastic player.
I mean, when did you first get to know Scott then?
Just going up and playing in games, and doing Celtic tours, going back and watching the games. I know he's good friends with Darren Jackson as well, so probably through that. And yeah, we just keep in touch now and again. He'll text him now and again, keep going and get them through it and all that. So, yeah, I think anybody you speak to realises what a great lad he is as well, on and off the pitch.
And I suppose he's one of these guys, he's already doing all his coaching badges.
Yeah.
And you can just tell his next step at some point when he eventually does hang up the boots is to become a coach and a manager. And as you mentioned about him leading by example, but he's going to take that into his management, isn't he?
I would think so, yeah, Paul. I know he is doing his badges, I've had a conversation about it, and he'll probably just do exactly like what Lenny done. Took his badges and what we've all done, take our badges to enhance the stuff that we learned as a player and take it on into the future. And I'll probably no doubt that whatsoever that Brownie will become a coach. That'll probably be his next step after he finishes playing, and then see if he likes it, and then it'll be a manager. Just probably replicate what Lenny's done.
Yeah. In terms of yourself just now, Tommy, what you working on just now?
I'm at Blackpool. I'm head of recruitment at Blackpool. I've been there since October. We've got a new owner who's different class, chief exec, and they've restructured the whole scouting side of it. And I think all the fans are coming back to the game now after the Owen Oyston era. They've got the town's back and loving football again. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. We had a busy January, got 12 players in and 12 out. So at the minute, I'm just sat at home watching players on the laptop at the minute, 24/7. So we'll get back into it.
Because that's a key, any club, that's a key role, because there's a big responsibility to you to help the management and get the right, as you say, to get the right players in to build the squad.
Definitely, yeah. It's a huge. I think it's massive at all clubs now, recruitment side, especially with the amount of money that's in the game, Paul. It's unbelievable. It's not just obviously saying, I like this player. He's got to fit into the way you play. Is he a good character? Is he going to be okay in the dressing room? Is he the right age? Will he have a resaleable value? There's so much goes into watching and recruiting players now. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and I suppose that you mentioned obviously, players take what they know from the game into coaching, but that's you're taking also what you've learned playing into this side of the things as well, of what you're looking for, how you can identify a player.
Definitely.
That must be quite enjoyable.
Yeah,
as well.
It was good to get the old boots back on. It was good on how to look at games to see what we need for next season as well. So it worked both ways, to be honest. It was good to get back onto the training pitch, but then again, I'm looking towards next season to find out what areas we need to improve on.
Yeah, and as you say, hopefully, everybody stays safe and we get back to playing football before too long.
Well, that's it. First and foremost, Paul, everyone's got to stay healthy. It's tough for everyone at present. We know that. People can't see the family, and especially the older generations of them. It's a bit difficult at the minute, but we've just got to adhere to the guidelines and stay at home and make sure we look after ourselves and friends and family as well. And football will take care of itself. The powers that be will make the decision, but I think everyone would agree it would be great if the football could get back to normal and then finish the seasons, which hopefully that's what they'll do.
Thompson. And Larson. It opens up for him unselfishly to Tommy Johnston! Johnston gets the party going! Celtic have turned up for their date with destiny.
Well, it took him a long time to get it in the net, Ian, but relief all round here for this 60,000 crowd. Larson unselfish, could have released the shot himself. Terrible touch from Tommy Johnston. And he does well enough at the second attempt. And this is a game, well, it doesn't matter how it goes in this afternoon as long as it goes in. And at last, some of the pressure is off Celtic.